Canto 1 of Book 4 of the Ramayana of Valmiki. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Om123. Book 4 of the Ramayana of Valmiki. Translated by Ralph T.H. Griffith. Canto 1 Rama's Lament. The princess stood by Pampa's side, which blooming lilies glorified. With troubled heart and sense overthrown, there Rama made his piteous moan. As the fair flood before him lay, the reason of the chief gave way, and tender thoughts within him woke, as to Sumitra's son he spoke. How lovely Pampa's waters show, where streams of lucid crystal flow! What glorious trees overhang the flood, which blooms of opening lotus stud! Look on the banks of Pampa, where thick groves extend divinely fair, and files of trees like hills in size lift their proud summits to the skies. But thought of Bharat's pain and toil, and my dear spouse the giant's spoil, afflict my tortured heart and press my spirit down with heaviness. Still fair to me, though sunk in woe, bright Pampa and her forest show, where cool fresh waters charm the sight, and flowers of every hue are bright. The lotuses in close array their passing loveliness display, and pod and tiger, deer and snake, haunt every glade and dell and brake. Those grassy spots display the hue of topazes and sapphires blue, and gay with flowers of every dye, which richly broidered housings vie. What loads of bloom the high trees crown, or weigh the bending branches down, and creepers tipped with bud and flower each spray and loaded limb overpower. Now cool delicious breezes blow, and kindle love's voluptuous glow. One balmy sweetness fills the air, and fruit and flowers and trees are fair. Those waving woods that shine with bloom, each varied tint in tone assume. Like labouring clouds they pour their showers, in rain or ever-changing flowers. Behold those forest trees that stand high upon rock and table land, as the cool gales their branches bend, their floating blossoms downward send. See, Lakshman, how the breezes play with every floweret on the spray, and sport in merry guise with all the fallen blooms and those that fall. See, brother, where the merry breeze shakes the gay boughs of flowery trees. Disturbed amid their toil a throng of bees pursue him loud in song. The quails, mad with sweet delight, the bending trees to dance invite, and in its joy the wild wind sings, as from the mountain cave he springs. On speed the gales in rapid course, and bend the woods beneath their force, till every branch and spray they bind in many a tangled knot entwined. What balmy sweets those gales dispense, with cool and sacred influence! Fatigue and trouble vanish, such the magic of their gentle touch. Hark, when the gale the boughs has bent, in oaths of honey redolent, through all their quivering sprays the trees are vocal with the murmuring bees. The hills with towering summits rise, and with their beauty charm the eyes. Gay with the giant trees which bright with blossoms spring from every height, and as the soft wind gently sways the clustering blooms that load the sprays, the very trees break forth and sing with startled wild bees murmuring. Thine eyes to yonder acacias turn, whose glorious clusters glow and burn. Those trees in yellow robes behold, like giants decked with burnished gold. Ah me, Sumitra's son, the spring, dear to sweet birds who love and sing, wakes in my lonely breast the flame of sorrow as I mourn my dame. Love strikes me true with darts of fire, and wakes in vain the sweet desire. Hark! The loud koel swells his throat, and mocks me with his joyful note. I hear the happy wildcock call beside the shady waterfall. His cry of joy afflicts my breast, by love's absorbing might possessed. My darling, from our cottage heard, one morn in spring this shrill-toned bird, and called me in her joy to hear the happy cry that charmed her ear. See, birds of every varied voice around us in the woods rejoice, on creeper, shrub, and plant alight, or wing from tree to tree their flight. Each bird his kindly mate has found, and loud their notes of triumph sound, blending in sweetest music like the distant warblings of the shrike. See how the river banks are lined with birds of every hue and kind. Here in his joy the koel sings, there the glad wildcock flaps his wings. The blooms of bright asokas where the song of wild bees fills the air, and the soft whisper of the boughs increase my longing for my spouse. The vernal flush of flower and spray will burn my very soul away. What ills, what care have I for life, if I no more may see my wife? Soft speaker with the glorious hair, and eyes with silken lashes fair. Now is the time when all day long the koels fill the woods with song, and gardens bloom at spring's sweet touch, which my beloved loved so much. Ah me, Sumitra's son, the fire of sorrow, sprung from soft desire, fanned by the charms the springtime shows, will burn my heart and end my woes. Whose sad eyes look on each fair tree, but my sweet love no more may see. Ah me, from hour to hour, love in my soul will wax in power, and spring, upon whose charms I gaze, whose breath the heat of toil allays, with thoughts of her for whom I strain, my hopeless eyes increase my pain. As fire in summer rages through the forests thick with dry bamboo, so will my fawn-eyed love consume my soul overwhelmed with thoughts of gloom. Behold, beneath each spreading tree, the peacocks dance in frantic glee, and steered by the gales that blow, their tails with jeweled windows glow. Each bird, in happy love elate, rejoices with his darling mate. But sights like these of joy and peace my pangs of hopeless love increase. See, on the mountain slope above, the peahound languishing with love. Behold her now in amorous dance, close to her consort side advance. He with a laugh of joy and pride displays his glittering pinions wide, and follows through the tangled dell the partner whom he loves so well. Ah, happy bird, no giant's hate has robbed him of his tender mate, and still beside his loved one he dances beneath the shade in glee. Ah, in this month, when flowers are fair, my widowed woe is hard to bear. See, gentle love a home may find in creatures of inferior kind. See how the peahen turns to meet her consort now with love-drawn feet. So, Lakshman, if my love's eyed dear the child of Janak still were here, she by love's thrilling influence led, upon my breast would lay her head. These blooms I gathered from the bough, without my love are useless now. 1,000 blossoms fair to see, with passing glory clothe each tree, that hangs its cluster burdened head, now that the dewy months are fled. But, followed by the bees that ply their fragrant task, they fall and die. 1,000 birds in wild delight their rapture-breeding notes unite. Bird calls to bird in joyous train, and turns my love to frangid pain. Oh, if beneath those alien skies there be a spring where Sita lies, I know my prisoned love must be touched with like grief and mourn with me. But methinks that dreary clime knows not the touch of spring's sweet time. How could my black-eyed love sustain, without her lord, so dire a pain? Or if the sweet spring come to her, in distant lands a prisoner, how may his advent and her met, on every side with taunt and tread? Ah, if the springtide's languor came, with soft enchantment over my dame, my darling of the lotus eye, my gently speaking love would die. For well my spirit knows that she can never live bereft of me. With love that never wavered yet, my Sita's heart on me is set. Who with a soul that never can stray, would equal love her love repay? In vain, the soft wind brings sweet blossoms on his balmy wings, delicious from his native snow, to me like fire he seems to glow. Oh, how I love the breeze like this, when darling Sita shared the bliss. But now in vain for me it blows, to fan the fury of my woes. That dark-winged bird that sought the skies, foretelling grief with warning cries, sits on the tree where birds are gay, and pours glad music from the spray. That rover of the fields of air will aid my love with friendly care, and me with gracious pity guide to my large-eyed Bidehan's side. Hark, Lakshman, how the woods around with love-inspiring chants resound, where birds in every bloom-crowned tree pour forth their amorous minstrelsy, as though an eager gallant wooed a gentle maid by love subdued, and amid of her flowers the bee darts at the wind-rocked Tila tree. Ashoka, brightest tree that grows, that lends a pang to lovers' woes, hangs out his gorgeous bloom in scorn, and mocks me as I weep forlorn. O Lakshman, turn thy eye and see its blossom-laden mango tree, like a young lover gaily dressed, whom fond desire forbids to rest. Look, son of Queen Sumitra true, the forest glades are varied here, where blooms are bright and grasses green, the kinners with their loves are seen. See, brother, see, where sweet and bright those crimson lilies charm the sight, and over the flood a radiance throw, fair as the morning's roseate glow. See, Pampa most divinely sweet, the swans and mallards' loved retreat, shows her glad waters bright and clear, where lotuses their heads uprear. From the pure wave and charm the view with mingled tints of red and blue, each like the morning's early beams reflected in the crystal gleams. And bees, on their sweet toil intent, weigh down each tender filament. There with gay lawns the wood recedes, there wildfowl sport amid the reeds, there roe deer stand upon the brink, the elephants descend to drink. The rippling waves which winds make fleet against the bending lilies beat, and the opening bud and flower and stem gleam with the drops that hang on them. Life has no pleasure left for me, while my dear queen I may not see, who loved so well those blooms that vie with the full splendour of her eye. O tyrant love, who will not let my bosom for 1 hour forget the lost one whom I yearn to meet, whose words were ever kind and sweet. Ah, happily might my heart endure this hopeless love that knows not cure, if spring with all his trees in flower assailed me not with ruthless power. Each lovely scene, each sound and sight, wherein with her I found delight, has lost the charm so sweet of yore, and glads my widowed heart no more. On lotus buds I seem to gaze, or blooms that deck Palasha's praise. But to my tortured memory rise the glories of my darling's eyes. Cool breezes through the forest stray, gathering odours on their way, and reach to it all the rifled scent of lotus flower and filament. Their touch upon my temples falls, and Sita's fragrant breath recalls. Now look, dear brother, on the right of Pampa towers a mountain height, where fairest cassia trees unfold the treasures of their burnished gold. Proud mountain king, his woody side with myriad oars is decked and dyed, and as the wind-swept blossoms fall, their fragrant dust is stained with all. To yon highlands thy glances turn, with pendant fire they flash and burn, where in their vernal glory blaze Palasha flowers on leafless sprays. O Lakshman, look, on Pampa's side, what fair trees rise in blooming pride, what climbing plants above them show, or hang their flowery garlands low. See how the amorous creeper rings the wind-rocked trees to which she clings, as though a dame by love impelled, with clasping arms her lover held. Drunk with the varied scents that fill the balmy air from hill to hill, from grove to grove, from tree to tree, the joyous wind is wandering free. These gay trees wave their branches bent by blooms of honey redolent. There, slowly opening to the day, buds with dark lustre deck the spray. The wild bee rests a moment where each tempting flower is sweet and fair. Then, coloured by the pollen dyes, deep in some odorous blossom lies. Soon from his couch away he springs, to other trees his course he wings, and tastes the honeyed blooms that grow where Pampa's lucid waters flow. See, Lakshman, see, how thickly spread with blossoms from the trees overhead, that grass the weary traveller woes with couches of 1,000 hues, and beds on every height arrayed with red and yellow tints are laid. No longer winter chills the earth, 1,000 flowerets spring to birth, and trees in rivalry assume their vernal garb of bud and bloom. How fair they look, how bright and gay, with tasselled flowers on every spray, while each to each proud challenge flings, born in the song the wild bee sings. That mallard by the river edge has baited amid the reeds and sedge, now with his mate he fondly plays, and fires my bosom as I gaze. Mandakini is far renowned, no lovelier flood on earth is found, but all her fairest charms combined in this sweet stream enchant the mind. Oh, if my love were here to look, with me upon this lovely brook. Never for Ayodhya would I pine, or wish that Indra's lot were mine. If by my darling's side I strayed, over the soft turf which decks the glade, each grieving thought were sweetly stilled, each longing of my soul fulfilled. But now my love is far away, those trees which make the earth so gay, in all their varied beauty dressed, wake thoughts of anguish in my breast. That lotus-covered stream behold, whose waters run so fresh and cold, sweet reel, the wild fowl's loved resort, where curlew, swan, and divers sport, where with his concert plays the drake, and tall deer love their thirst to slake, while from each woody bank is heard the wild note of each happy bird. The music of that joyous choir fills all my soul with soft desire, and as I hear, my sad thoughts fly to Sita of the lotus eye, whom, lovely with her moon-bright cheek, in vain mine eager glances seek. Now turn, those checkered lawns survey, where heart and hind together stray. Ah, as they wander at their will, my troubled breast with grief they fill, while torn by hopeless love I sigh for Sita of the fawn-like eye. If in those glades where, touched by spring, gay birds their amorous ditties sing, mine own beloved I might see, then, brother, it were well with me. If by my side she wandered still, and this cool breeze that stirs the rill touched with its gentle breath the brows of mine own dear Bidehan's spouse. For Lakshman, oh, how blessed are those on whom the breath of Pampa blows, dispelling all their care and gloom with sweets from where the lilies bloom. How can my gentle love remain alive amid their woe and pain, where prisoned far away she lies, my darling of the lotus eyes? How shall I dare her sire to greet, whose lips have never known deceit? How stand before the childless king, and meet his eager questioning? When banished by my sire's decree, in low estate she followed me, so pure, so true to every vow. Where is my gentle darling now? How can I bear my widowed lot, and linger on where she is not, who followed when from home I fled, distracted, disinherited? My spirit sinks in hopeless pain, when my fond glances yearn in vain for that dear face with whose bright eye the worshipped lotus cause can vie. Ah, when, my brother, shall I hear that voice that rang so soft and clear, when sweetly smiling as she spoke, from her dear lips gay laughter broke? When worn with toil and love I strayed with Sita through the forest shade, no trace of grief was seen in her, my kind and thoughtful comforter. How shall my faltering tongue relate to Queen Kaushalya, Sita's fate? How answer when in wild despair she questions, where is Sita, where? Haste, brother, haste to Varathai, on whose fond love I still rely. My life can be no longer borne, since Sita from my side is torn. Thus, like a helpless mourner bent by sorrow, Rama made lament, and with wise counsel Lakshman tried to soothe his care, and thus replied: O best of men, thy grief oppose, nor sink beneath thy weight of woes, nor does despond the great and pure, and brave like thee, but still endure. Reflect what anguish wrings the heart, when loving souls are forced to part, and mindful of the coming pain, thy love within thy breast restrain. For art, though cooled by wandering streams, lies scorched beneath the midday beams. Ravan his steps to hell may bend, or lower yet in flight descend, but be thou sure, O Raghu's son, avenging death he shall not shun. Rise, Rama, rise, the search begin, and track the giant foul with sin. Then shall the fiend, though far he fly, resign his prey or surely die. Yea, though the trembling monster hide, with Sita close to Diti's side, even there, unless he yield the prize, slain by this wrathful hand, he dies. Thy heart with strength and courage stay, and cast this weakling mood away. Our fainting hopes in vain revive, unless with firm resolve we strive. The chill that fires the toiler's breast, mid earthly powers is first and best. Chill every check and bar defies, and wins at length the loftiest prize. In woe and danger, toil and care, chill never yields to weak despair. With cheerless heart thy task begin, and thou once more thy spouse shalt win. Cast fruitless sorrow from thy soul, nor let this love thy heart control. Forget not all thy sacred law, but be thy noble self once more. He heard, his bosom rent by grief, the counsel of his brother chief, crushed in his heart the maddening pain, and rose, resolved and strong again. Then forth upon his journey went, the hero on his task intent, nor thought of Pampa's lovely brook, or trees which murmuring breezes shook. Though on dark woods his glances fell, on waterfall and cave and dell, and still by many a care distressed, the son of Raghu onward pressed. As some wild elephant elate moves through the woods in pride, so Lakshman with majestic gait strode by his brother's side. He for his lofty spirit famed, admonished and consoled, showed Raghu's son what duty claimed, and bade his heart be bold. Then as the brothers strode apace to Rishyamukha's height, the sovereign of the Bana race was troubled at the sight. As on the lofty hill he strayed, he saw the chiefs draw near, awhile their glorious forms surveyed, and mused in restless fear. His slow majestic step he stayed, and gazed upon the pair, and all his spirit sank dismayed, by fear too great to bear. When in their glorious might the best of royal chiefs came nigh, the Banas in their wild unrest prepared to turn and fly. They sought their hermit's sacred home, for peace and bliss ordained, and there where Banas love to roam, a sure asylum gained. End of Canto 1.